What is going on, y'all? I am back, and as you can tell by the title, Damian Lillard blockbuster trade. I know it's not basketball season. It's basketball off season right now. Basketball is gonna get started in a couple months. I know it's football season right now, but I had to put this out. I seen a couple people get it out before me. I was at work, wasn't able to do it, so here I am sitting down. Well, no, let's talk about this trade. Damian Lillard. I mean, the dude who was loyal to Portland for so long, so many years, so many great years. I mean, it was a great run. In my eyes, he's one of the best playoff performers I've ever seen. One of the best clutch shooters. If of our era of our decade, really. I mean, if you needed a big shot down the stretch, who's going to be the one to do it? And we've seen countless playoff runs. Yes, he didn't make a lot of deep runs and anything like that, but I mean, let's be serious here. Dame Lillard played by himself for the most part. I mean, he genuinely had no help in Portland. I mean, as ugly as it was to say, he stayed as loyal as he possibly could. But I mean, I couldn't be happier for him. I mean, he has taken out some great squads, in the playoffs in his short tenure in the playoffs, because he hasn't, like I said, hasn't made it very far. Okay. We remember him taking out Paul George and Russell Westbrook in OKC. Sidestep half court shot for the buzzer. All right. I mean, pairing him with one of the top one or two players in the world with Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, the Greek Freak. I mean, it's just insane. I mean, you got two people now on Milwaukee who averaged 30 plus points a game last year. Giannis averaged 31 and 31.1 points per game last year and 11.8 rebounds. That's a double double. Dame 32.2 points per game last year, shot 37% from three, 7.3 assists per game. I mean, this duo is going to be dynamic. It's going to be insane, and I just love the pairing that they made. I mean, we've heard all the talk about Giannis. He's been complaining in the media, talking about how he wants to win a championship. He wants to be in championship competition every single year, year in and year out. So you heard his name come in through trade talks. Where would Giannis end up if he doesn't sign his big extension? Where is he going to go? What teams want to trade for him? You heard some rumors about LA. You heard some rumors about the Warriors. I mean, you heard every team possible because who wouldn't want Giannis Antetokounmpo on their squad? I mean, it's a no-brainer if you're any team and you want to win. All right? I mean, and just pairing someone like Dame. Dame is the definition of loyalty in the NBA. I mean, he loved Portland. He embraced the struggle. He embraced the challenge of being a small market team with playing by himself. Him being the number one, not getting as much help, but he never bailed. I mean, he's been there for what 11 strong years, and he's always impressed. I mean, he's just been phenomenal, and he gets discredited a lot. I would say he gets discredited a lot due to the fact they didn't win as much. But I mean, let's be real. He is one of the best players of our era. Some of the best basketball you're ever going to see for the last 10 years, 10 to 11 years that he's been in the NBA. But I mean, really, listen, this Milwaukee team now gets scary. Yes, I'm a Lakers fan. I think we have a very deep roster. I don't think there's a lot of teams that can compete with that. I still don't think this Milwaukee team is that deep. But I mean, let's just put it together. I mean, you have Chris Middleton, who's an all-star caliber player. Okay, you have Giannis, like I said, top one or two player in the world, however you want to put it. It's either him or Jokic. There is no debate. All right. Last year, you could put it in an argument for Embiid with his MVP season, but still, I think when it all comes down to it, the playoff performances, how they play their game, how they get in people involved, how people like Giannis has developed and just added so many more skills to his skill set. I mean, being that big and being able to handle the ball down court, basically playing point guard for the most part, being able to dish the ball, getting himself, like I said, averaging almost 12 rebounds a game last year. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. And to pair an inside presence, an inside scorer like that, who's added a little fadeaway, a little mid range. He's trying to develop the mid range. His 3-point shot, some nights it's there. Majority of the nights it's not. But I mean, if he can continue to develop and start hitting that three more consistently, we are looking at a very scary team. I mean, because then, boom. I mean, if Dame can play catch off the off ball. He can catch and shoot. He can get that stuff. He can get the playoff screens and catch and shoot, splash. I mean, we've seen it all his career. Yes, he could also handle the ball, play make a little bit, but we know what Dame Lillard is known for. He's known for out there to go get a bucket. He's a walking bucket. I mean, and like I said, there's not many better than him. And I mean, listen, you pair Giannis, okay? Giannis, deep defensive player of the year. He's a great two-way player. He's one, like I said, top two in the world. Okay, it's undebatable. Okay, and you got an interior defensive presence in Brook Lopez. Excuse me. I mean, he is a DPOY candidate yearly. I mean, year in and year out. I mean, he's just, I believe, what it was number 2 in blocks per game this last year. I mean, and you know what he is, and he can shoot the three. I mean, he just makes the floor spacing for being around Giannis, and it's just so much better. And now you have Brook Lopez out there. You have Chris Middleton, right? You just gave Drew Holiday, so you're going to lose some defense. But, I mean, that team is going to be scary. You still got Bobby Portis coming off the bench. You had to give up Grayson Allen in this trade. But, I mean, overall, this is a win-win. I mean, Giannis said he needed answers, said he needed a prayer, and his prayers got answered. And they gave him Dame Lillard. This GM, this organization, they said, we are going to give you the tools to win. And they gave up 3 picks. They basically gave up 3 picks in this entire trade. But, I mean, they're so far down, 2028 to 2030. I mean, so it doesn't even matter. It's out the window. They're not worried about that. They're worried about winning a championship. And, I mean, yes, I do think I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm going to go into be biased, but I think the Lakers have the deepest roster in the league. I mean, our roster hasn't been this deep since we went to the bubble and won that chip. I mean, it's just it's going to be an exciting year. I'm very excited for who we brought back and how we brought them back. I mean, we basically re-signed everybody, brought in 4 or 5 extra players, and now our team just looks scary. But I mean, I could say the same about Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee, like I said, they're not going to be too deep, not as deep as us, but they are going to be a scary team. When you have 2 players that can give you 30 a night, I mean, it's hard to keep up, and especially because now you have Brook Lopez who can go out there and get you 10 boards if you really need it and you need him to play down low, all right? And his ability to play the 3 really, opens up the floor. Now that you have someone like Dame instead of Drew Holiday, a more efficient 3-point shooter, now you have to respect Dame out there. You can't peel off like it's Drew Holiday and pray for a brick. Dame is going to hit those shots. He's going to make you pay if you do anything like that. And now putting these 2 together, I mean, the pick and roll for them 2 together is just going to be absolutely insane. I mean, like I said, a downhill threat like Giannis who wants to get to the bucket, okay? And then you have someone like Dame who's okay with taking those 30-foot threes, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a beautiful thing to see. I mean, I respect Giannis so much. Giannis is one of my favorite players because he's doing it the right way. He didn't go out there and have to go get 3 superstars to go get a win. Okay, he didn't pull it. They didn't go do the KD way. Okay, I hate KD with everything about in my bones. I mean, even now, look, I mean, brought in Bradley Beal. Okay, and these guys are trying to do it again, and I don't respect it. So I pray that they get it handed to them this season. But yeah, man, I mean, like I said, this has to be a favorite, an NBA championship favorite. I mean, there's not many teams that can compete with a roster like this. Obviously, Denver's going to have to get some respect, but they did lose a couple key pieces. Okay, they lost Bruce Brown, and a couple pieces that they won't be able to replace. They're going to have the young guys going to have to step up. But, I mean, for the most part, it's safe to say Milwaukee is going to be in that championship hump. I mean, that's the only reason they brought it together. I mean, Dame Lillard, we obviously heard he only wanted to go to the Miami Heat. He said he wasn't going to be happy if he went anywhere else. But listen, if there's one better place than going to play with Jimmy Butler, it's got to be playing with Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. I mean, I'm just very excited to see how this plays out. On paper, this team should be absolutely dominant. I mean, they have all the pieces there. Yes, they have a little bit more age on them now in the likes of, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, those guys. But, I mean, man, this team is going to be a team to mess with in the East. And now you had a team like Boston. They made some moves. They added Kristaps Porzingis, excuse me, the unicorn, so we'll see how all that works together, how the spacing for that all works out. But, I mean, man, oh, man, this is going to be an exciting NBA season. And I couldn't be happier for Dame, man. I mean, if there was one team I had to go for, I had to root for, and it wasn't going to be my Detroit Pistons or my Los Angeles Lakers, then it's definitely got to be Dame, man, and Giannis. I respect them the most because they've always tried to do it the right way, So, yeah, I definitely am expecting big things from this team. I'm expecting big things from the Lakers as well. Definitely two of the, they have to be two of the title favorites going into this year. I mean, they've just absolutely changed their trajectory, especially Milwaukee. Milwaukee was getting old. I mean, like I said, they had Drew Holiday. Team hadn't really had any big success. Obviously, they lost in 5 to Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, who was on paper, talent wise, their team was not it. But obviously, they ended up getting it done and making it to the finals. And Giannis said a change needed to be made, and his prayers were answered. I mean, man, oh man, it's scary hours right now. And now you have to think teams out here, they have to start thinking about making moves, especially Miami Heat. I mean, Miami Heat no longer going to get Dame. I mean, you heard it. You heard it in when Jimmy Butler went on his Instagram story and talked about Milwaukee's messing with the system. They're definitely tampering with what's going on. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all business. It's business. At the end of the day, you're trying to win, and who wouldn't want to go play with Giannis? Okay, but let's just talk about this overall trade. Who's going where? What piece is going where? Obviously, like I said, Milwaukee gets Dame right off the bat. 3-team trade between Milwaukee, Portland Trailblazers, and the Phoenix Suns. Okay, Portland's going to end up getting Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Tamani Kamara, who I've actually never heard of. So we'll see how that goes. I gotta assume it's just a spot to make the rosters fit. And then like I said, 2028 first round pick unprotected, 2029 and 2030 pick swap with Portland and Milwaukee. So that's great to see. Milwaukee basically just gave up a lot of their future draft capital down the line. But I mean, like I said, it's for Dame Dollar. It's a no-brainer at the end of the day. You're not worried about stuff 7 years down the road, 6 years down the road. What you're worried about right now is winning a championship. And Phoenix, throughout this trade, I mean, they're going to come back with Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. I mean, Keon Johnson was just stuck in a deep hole in Portland behind all those, young guards that they had. Anthony Simons, averaging 20 points per game last year behind Dame. So obviously, Portland, they decided they wanted to go in the direction of keeping their young their young guards behind Scoot, Anthony Simons, and Shaden Sharp. I mean, those are just 3 beautiful young studs that they're going to have for him. Anthony Simons, I'm a big fan of. I mean, I just love his game. When Dame went out last season, he really stepped up to the plate. It didn't result to a lot of wins, but he really put on a show and he really developed his game. And he thanks a lot of that to being around Dame Lillard so much, And we've seen this team really have potential to put up 130 points per game. Obviously, they didn't do it on a consistent basis, but they have so much offensive firepower that they on any given night they could easily have 2 people go for 30 points a game, which is something you like to see, especially from Portland. Scoot Henderson, we all know, number 3 overall pick. He's going to be a star. I mean, in everything I've seen from him in the G League, in the Summer League, has just been phenomenal. There's not many things he can't do, and he's been very impressive. And I'm very excited to see how that works for him and his time at Portland. But the major thing, I mean, is bringing Drew Holiday to that, 3-guard set that they won in Portland. Like I said, Shaden Sharp, Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons. Those are the 3 young dudes that they want to develop and build around. And obviously, Drew Holiday's coming in just to be another piece to trade out. So be on the alert for a Drew Holiday trade. They want to trade him off. They want to send him somewhere. Where? I'm not sure. I mean, thinking in my head, off the top of my head, I got to assume he's got to stay in the East. He's got to end up somewhere in the East. Maybe he goes to Miami. That was one talk I heard about today. Maybe he goes to Miami, upgrades that point guard position. Does it help Miami in the long run, or does it really bump him up to a contender? No, not necessarily, but it does give you a better point guard. It does give you someone who's got that experience, the vet, the defensive, the lockdown perimeter defense, and his ability to guard basically 1 through 4. I mean, we know how elite of a defender Drew Holiday is. So whatever team he ends up going to, I mean, I'm looking for big things for him. I'm still a fan of Drew Holiday. I respect what he's done, teaming up with Giannis, his work in New Orleans with the Pelicans. I mean, yeah, overall, I'm just, I don't know where he's going to end up, like I said, but I hope he goes somewhere where they're going to use him, and, hopefully he has a chance still to make a playoff run and, prove he shouldn't have been traded, because just the day before he had quoted in an interview saying that he wanted to be a Milwaukee Buck for life, and the next day he got traded. How unfortunate could that be, man? I mean, I just don't know how he's feeling right now. He hasn't gone up for an interview or posted anything on social media, so we'll keep an eye out for that. But I mean, listen, swapping DeAndre Ayton for Nurkic, I mean, it's just, I mean, take it how you want it. I mean, DeAndre Ayton, I'm not a big fan of, but I do realize, I mean, listen, he was a double-double machine. He was giving you 14, 16 points a game and giving you at least 10 to 11 boards a night. I mean, so yes, he is a very talented player. His expectations are a lot higher than a lot of centers or a lot of players who, aren't performing how they should be based on their where they were drafted. I mean, being drafted number 1 overall over Luka, over Trey, over Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, there's a lot of, everyone's going to treat you different. They're going to criticize you a little bit more. They're going to put you to a higher expectations, put you on a higher pedestal. But I mean, overall, listen, him being with D-Book and KD last year, and now Bradley Beal coming in, I mean, it was just no way he was going to get his touches that he wanted. And especially for Phoenix, with having that many shooters and people that work on the perimeter, I mean, they definitely wanted a true center in Nurkic. I mean, Nurkic hasn't been the same since he's came back from injury, but I mean, he's still a solid player. I'm not going to use the word solid because I don't think he's, that impressive. Again, I'm not a fan of him, not a fan of his game, but he definitely will play the more traditional center role, which is what they want around all those shooters. I mean, you got D-Book, KD, Bradley Beal, all those guys who just want to go to work, okay? I mean, mid-range magician, all across the board. I mean, Hall of Fame mid-range magician for all these guys. That's going to be a, sharpshooting sniper team for sure. But I mean, DeAndre Ayton, now you're going to Portland. You're going to a young team. Like I said, the 3 guards that they want to build around, you're going to have an opportunity to go out there, reset, because obviously we know him and Monte Morris and that Phoenix organization, that their friendship, their relationship is sour. It was going down the wrong path, and it just never, ever got better. I mean, clearly they wanted DeAndre Ayton out, and now was finally the time to do it for him. And DeAndre Ayton going to Portland. I mean, Portland's... It's not Phoenix, but I mean, you have a chance to go out there and prove what you can do when you're basically the number 2 option on that team. Because depending on how Scoot and Shaedon Sharpe pick up this year, Anthony Simons, I got to assume, is going to pick up as the number 1, bucket getter on that team. So I'm expecting a big season for Anthony Simons. But I mean, him and DeAndre Ayton are definitely going to be a good combo together. I mean, DeAndre Ayton, obviously not a traditional center. But he definitely wants to get his touches, use his footwork in the paint, make some stuff happen. But man, I mean, overall, today's just been absolutely crazy. I mean, I couldn't have imagined. I didn't know this was going to happen today. As soon as I saw it on my phone, I just went absolutely crazy because, Dame Lillard, Dame Dollar, the definition of loyalty, man. I mean, obviously we know he's from California. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? He is a Bay Area native. He's tweeted about the Raiders yesterday, which I thought was or Monday or Sunday night, excuse me, which I thought was cool because it just shows that he still loves his hometown, But I wish nothing for the best for Dame Lillard. And like I said, if the Lakers were to lose to anybody this year in the finals, if they make it that far, I would have to say got to be to these guys. I mean, I respect both these guys' games. It's not going to be something I'm going to pray for their downfall or anything like that. But yeah, man, I mean, today's been crazy. I definitely expect some teams to make some more moves. I mean, after seeing something like this, something's got to be done for some teams. Maybe Jimmy Butler wants out of Miami because, it's basically him and Tyler Hero again, So we will definitely see how this NBA offseason goes. But yeah, man, I mean, just be on the lookout. Like I said, Drew Holiday is now on the market. They've already declared they want to flip him again. Maybe they flip him to somebody in the East for some more picks and some more draft capital. I don't know, but yeah, keep an eye out. And I hope y'all enjoyed the late night immediate emergency podcast. I mean, a little 15-20 minute video. I just had to get out there and talk about it. I mean, it's a hot topic right now, man. Go Lakers.